Let's be honest, starting a new job, especially in a new country, can feel, well, a little overwhelming. But today, we're going to simplify it. We're going to break down the first two things you absolutely need to get right when you start working in Canada.
So, you're about to kick off a new job here, or hey, maybe you've already started. It's a super exciting time, for sure, but it also comes with a blizzard of paperwork and a ton of questions. You're probably wondering, where do I even begin?
Well, here's the good news. Think of it like this. To unlock your entire work journey in Canada, you really just need two essential keys. Once you've got these two things sorted out, everything else starts to click into place.
All right, let's grab that first key. This one is, you could argue, the most important piece of the puzzle. It's your personal ID for pretty much everything related to your job and government services.
It's called the Social Insurance Number, but you'll almost always hear it called a SIN. This 9-digit number from Service Canada is your unique identifier. You absolutely have to have it to get paid, to access benefits, and to file your taxes. It's basically the master key. Now here's where it gets a little more interesting. You might think a number is just a number, but that's not exactly true here. Depending on your status in Canada, the kind of ID number you get can actually be different. So let's break that down.
Okay, so take a look here. There are a few different types. A standard SIN is what citizens and permanent residents get. But, and this is a big one, if you're a temporary worker, you'll get a temporary SIN, and it always starts with the number 9. Then, in some other situations, the Canada Revenue Agency, that's the CRA, might give you an individual tax number, or ITN, or even a temporary tax number, or TTN. The main thing to know is which one applies to you.
So let's zoom in on that number 9 for a second. If your number starts with a 9, you need to pay close attention. It means it's a temporary SIN, and, critically, it will have an expiry date. This is super important for anyone here on a work permit or with any kind of temporary status.
So, how do you get one? The process, thankfully, is pretty straightforward. You've got options. You can apply online, send your application in by mail, or just go in person to a Service Canada office. And here's a little fun fact for you. Many people actually get one right at birth. So you might already have one tucked away somewhere.
Okay, I need you to listen to this part very carefully. Your SIN is confidential, like top secret confidential. You should memorize it, but please do not carry the card or the document around in your wallet. Lock it up somewhere safe. If that number gets into the wrong hands, you could become a victim of identity theft, and that is a nightmare you do not want.
So, when is it okay to share it? The number one time, and this is a must-do, is when you start a new job. Your employer is legally required to ask for it. They need it to report your income to the CRA for tax purposes. So that's the big, approved reason to share it.
All right, key number 1, your SIN is in your pocket. Now let's move on to our second key. This one isn't a number you get, it's a definition you need to understand. And that is, what is your employment status? Are you an employee or are you self-employed?
And you might be thinking, okay, why does this label matter so much? Well, it is a huge deal. Your status directly changes your access to government benefits, like employment insurance, and it affects how you pay into programs like the Canada Pension Plan. It has a massive impact on your financial life. First up, let's talk about employment insurance, or EI. The best way to think about it is as a financial safety net. It's there to provide you with some temporary income if you lose your job and it wasn't your fault. Your eligibility for this safety net is tied directly to your employment status.
And then there's the Canada Pension Plan, or CPP. This is the big one for your future. It's the national plan that takes care of your retirement and also provides disability and survivor benefits. How you contribute to this fund is completely different depending on if you're an employee or if you're self-employed.
You know, the best way to really get a handle on this difference is to see it in action. So let's look at a tale of two workers. This should make it crystal clear. When you boil it all down, it really comes down to two main things: control and risk. An employee works for a boss and follows their instructions. A self-employed person, on the other hand, works for themselves. They have control, but they also take on all the financial risk. Let's make this more real.
First up, let's meet Maya. Her situation is a perfect example of a classic employee. So Maya works at a toy store. Let's look at the clues, right? Her boss decides her schedule and tells her what tasks to do. The store gives her everything she needs to do the job, like a uniform. And she gets a predictable, set wage every hour. She has very low financial risk. The store has all the risk. That makes her an employee.
Simple. Now let's flip the coin and take a look at Matteo. His work life looks totally different. Matteo is a freelance photographer. He's the one in control. He decides which clients he wants to work with, he decides how he's going to take the photos, and he negotiates his own prices. But, and this is the crucial part, he also takes on all the risk. He has to buy his own expensive cameras and pay for all of his own business expenses. That's what makes him self-employed.
Now, Maya and Matteo are pretty black and white examples. But in the real world, things can get a little gray, a little blurry. So what do you do when you look at your own job and you're just not sure which category you fall into?
If you're looking at your work situation right now and thinking, am I more of a Maya or a Matteo? Don't worry, you don't have to guess. There's an official way to find out for sure.
You can actually ask the Canada Revenue Agency for what's called a CPP/EI ruling. What happens is, they'll look at all the specific details of your job and they will give you a final, definitive legal decision on your status. The most important thing here is knowing you don't have to figure out alone.
And there you have it, the 2 keys to starting your work life in Canada. Getting your social insurance number and getting a crystal clear understanding of your employment status. With these 2 keys in your hand, you are ready to get started. The only question left is, what will you unlock?